So in the heat and in the fire, you see all that our heart desires. In the darkness and the flood, always with us and always love. Always with us and always love. Always only our truest friend. Always only our truest friend. So in confusion and questioning, when to futile thoughts we cling, when we're muddled up in shame, that it's not our name. You insist that it's not our name. Oh, love with us in joy and pain. Love with us in the mundane. Love with us until the end. And always our truest friend. Always only our truest friend. So in our aimless wandering, on the days we can't bear to sing, when we circle round and round, you say that the lost are found. You say that the lost are found. Oh, love with us in joy and pain. Love with us in the mundane. Love with us until the end. Always only our true heart's friend. So love with each and everyone. Love for daughters and for sons. Love for enemies and friends. Love with us until the end. Love with us until the end.
Hello, everyone. I am Heather Lynn here with my friends Aaron Niequist and Ben Grace. You may or may not know that Ben Grace and I are on our second collaborative tour. This is the Ben Grace and Heather Lynn Tour 2018. We are currently in the beautiful, beautiful, windy also, city of Chicago, staying at a friend's place. As you know, we are community-supported artists, so we rely on the generosity and hospitality of people along the way, and we are so grateful to be in this beautiful space. We are grateful today to connect also with Aaron Niequist, and part of what brings us together is the 9Beats Collective. 9Beats is a tour partner. They're helping fund some of the costs for this tour, and I am also a part of the 9Beats Collective. I wrote about I collaborated on about 5 of the songs that are on the double album that includes spoken word and songs from artists all over the world. It is truly an incredible, incredible project. So today, this could be a sort of a live online with Heather Lynn, but it's a little bit of a twist on our story-dwelling music and conversation. So we're focusing on, this is a special 9Beats Collective edition of that. So thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for inviting me. I just want you guys to keep singing.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll do more of that.
It was ridiculous.
It
it was
thank
so
you.
good. Yeah, and I'm right in the middle. So I just
Yeah, you're enveloped.
So good. I know.
It's like a music sandwich,
Right.
or an Oreo. What do you prefer?
Either. I like both.
You like both? Okay. So
If
here's
it is
just
an Oreo, then Aaron's the double stuffed.
Ooh.
Because there's more in the middle.
What are you saying? That's really hurtful.
nice. So here's just a little bit about the 9Beats Collective if you haven't come across it or heard about it before. The collective, somewhere between a story and a dream, there is a whisper of another world, is there not? Mm-hmm. A different rhythm rising. 9Beats Collective is an international tribe of troubadours, poets, rebels, provocateurs, sages, and artists on the trail of the ancient Bible sayings known as the Beatitudes. These 9 beats offer a 9-statement manifesto for a new world order, hidden in plain sight and so often ignored even by those who call themselves followers. They offer a radical alternative to the broken systems we've created. In these 9 beats, we hear the whispers of another world. So we're focusing on the 9 beats today, the Beatitudes really, that has inspired this incredible work of art with contributors from Uganda and the UK and all across the United States. And a bunch of us got together in Malibu a couple of years ago. And that's where I think you and I first met, right?
First time, yeah.
It was
not an ugly place.
It was
in the world.
it was hard. It was so hard. We were suffering for the goodness.
Up on that. Oh man, it was beautiful.
Aaron, what brought you to the 9 Beats Collective? How did it intersect your life?
Yeah.
How were you invited into it?
Well, very practically through our friend Mark Scandrett.
Oh, yes, Mark.
And Mark has been a friend, a mentor, an inspiration, we call him. He is the godfather of the practice, which the practice is our little community in Chicago.
Yes, he has like the Jesus dojo or something
Absolutely,
like that, right?
yep.
Okay, great.
And so he has just been like, we call him the godfather. And so we've been friends for a long time, and he reached out and said, hey, we're doing this thing about the Beatitudes. Mm-hmm. And obviously, I mean, the Beatitudes are so central to what it means to be human, to what it means for those of us who are trying to figure out what it means to be Christian, to follow Christ in some meaningful way. And so, and then it was in Malibu. So Mark, Beatitudes, Malibu, I was in.
You didn't need much more persuasion than that.
Yeah.
Actually, Mark is who invited me into it.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, so that's awesome.
Yeah.
So why do you think he invited you, though? Like, give us a little bit of your background and what you do in life and in this world, and why he would invite you to be part of it. This collective of artists and troubadours and poets and provocateurs and sages. Are you a sage? Is that why he invited you?
I would never claim to be a sage. I would love to be a sage. No, Mark.
Do you like sage?
I do.
I mean, some people. Great.
No, I mean, I think Mark knew that I had been on, I grew up in a Christian home and the whole religious thing, and I was a worship leader at a church, and my faith imploded.
Okay.
And so I was the guy who had to lead songs he didn't believe anymore. Mm-hmm. And so Mark
had a tough spot to be in.
It was terrible. Mm-hmm. And Mark was one of the mentors who are just, we've just been saying there's another way. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't have to either be double down on that thing we know doesn't work or jump ship from the whole thing.
Nice.
There is a way.
Gosh.
And so when he starts, talking about the Beatitudes as not just a series of things we need to, I agree with one.
Intellectually ascribe to,
but a pathway.
That's right. A whole way of being and a way of life.
It changes everything. Mm-hmm, and so he actually came to we have this little community in Chicago called The Practice. And he came and he helped us organize the whole fall, 9 weeks, on the Beatitudes. Yeah. And we said, we don't want to just believe about the Beatitudes. Mm-hmm. We want to figure out how to rearrange our lives to follow this path. Mm. And it was, cool. I don't know if I told you, the Sunday after Trump was elected, we were on Blessed Are the Peacemakers.
Wow.
Just randomly. We didn't plan it that way. We obviously didn't plan it that way.
So synchronized.
But 4 days later, we're gathering together. What in the world are we going to talk about and be? And so anyways, but the Beatitudes offered us a path.
Oh, that's beautiful. Well, and I know that there's nothing more disintegrating and draining than having your outer life be incongruent with your inner
Absolutely.
life. And so
Absolutely.
what a beautiful, refreshing
Yeah.
thing for this to intersect your life just at that junction.
Oh,
It's beautiful.
Especially as
so
an
grateful.
Enneagram 4.
Oh, are you a 4 as well?
All day long.
Oh my
Three
goodness.
fours up here.
So if you don't know the Enneagram, you all
man.
look up the Enneagram online and check out what type 4 is. I am a type 4, so that will explain a lot of things to you, those of you who follow my music. And it just so happens that Ben Grace also happens to be a 4, and we've just learned now that Aaron is a 4.
I'm a newly found 4.
Oh,
What's
Yeah,
that?
I'm a newly
really?
found 4.
just within the past year. It's almost like we should have your 4 rebirthing
That's right.
birthday or something.
Yeah, I thought I need to get you really baptized or something.
Yeah,
Just find myself. So a year ago, I identified as a 2.
Really?
When we were on
Okay.
tour last year, you thought you were a 2, and we kept talking, and I was like, dude, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of my friends loves to say to me, Aaron, you are so special.
Oh,
Just like
Yes.
all the millions of other 4s.
that's right. Because
are so
we need
unique.
to. Yes, that's right.
Just like everybody
Well,
else.
I'm sure that you are a 4 unlike any
That's
other
right. There's
4.
never been a 4
Never
like
in the
me.
history
Yeah.
of the known universe.
Can I put you on the spot?
Yes, please.
Why did you say yes to jump into the Beatitudes?
Why did I
the
say
9
yes?
Beats?
Yeah.
Why was that compelling to you?
Yeah, well, I have a similar story to
Okay.
yours that a lot of people don't know, actually,
Okay.
publicly, which is fine. And I found it also refreshing and healing to become a part of this collective.
Okay.
I think as someone who grew up in the context that I did, in kind of a religious shaming story, there was a lot of grace and beauty and community and help along the way, but there were also a lot of things that didn't allow me to be who I believe I am meant to be. And so this brought me back to the sort of home narrative of my soul, but in a new way, in a way that resonates truly with my soul, and I didn't have to pretend to kind of dance with it. And I also found it, and I still find it really beautiful, that there is a spectrum of people involved in this, from people who I think have this great faith and belief, and people who have a lot of doubt, and people who hold a lot of tension in there, and so I'm grateful for that.
Yeah.
That like a lot of different kinds of people can connect around the values of the Beatitudes, and I think that's part of what makes them so incredible.
That's awesome.
I almost feel like we should read the Beatitudes at some point here, because some people might not know what we're talking about.
I can pull them up if you want to do that.
Before we do the next song, I just want to say that, so Ben Grace isn't on the double album of international provocateurs, troubadours, sages, artists, but he's kind of been adopted into the collective. And and the creative director and so Steve and Rob, who are instigators of this, call Ben a Beata buddy.
Okay.
And I was just wondering, Ben, if you'd like to say anything about that.
Yeah, I mean, I came obviously late. I mean, I found the record through kind of knowing you. I also, I mean, I think one of my life, exactly what you just said, one of my life things that I just love more than anything else is diversity. And this record just really, truly has some really diverse voices, has very diverse sounds on it, which I think that's kind of, for me, how the world is going to be created going forward, the collaboration, across all sorts of things is the way the world gets built, not just us staying in our lanes and kind of finding the people that are exactly like us, but finding just unique voices. And I think, honestly, the teachings of Jesus through the Beatitudes is one of my favorites as well. And I think it should transcend culture and time and space. They're not just intellectual ideas. They're beautiful ways to live. So I'm grateful to be part of it.
I'm trying to pull it up. I had the sheet that Mark gave us at the retreat.
That's what I would actually love to draw from, if you can find it.
It's somewhere in Evernote. but I
Okay.
haven't found it yet.
Evernote.
Yep,
Navigate the apps.
that's right.
It's like a whole other world at your fingertips. Well, I'm going to do one of the songs from the album. Ben will join me. This song is called In Recovery, and I actually do think that it reflects well the spectrum of people involved in the album and the spectrum of approach to this and how we find and make meaning of the Beatitudes together. And so Tony Bean, who's the producer of the album, wrote this song. He wrote all the music of the song, and he started to write the lyrics, and then he asked me to write, I wrote 3 of the stanzas, so 3, 4, and 5. And it was such an interesting creative process for me, something I had never really done before, to first really learn and embody the groove and the feel and the melody, and then to also pick up on this idea and this concept and then carry it through the song. It brought out writing in me that I've never seen come out of me before. So I was really happy about that. And then there were some things when we went to record the song. So my voice is on the song. And when we were recording it in the studio, there were a few things that I wanted to deliberate with Tony about the lyrics. So for example, he talks about how we are in recovery of how we should be, how we should share in this life together, whatever. And I just wanted to mention to him and talk with him about like how the word should, for me and I think for so many people, has been a trigger. If we've been in these sorts of systems and narratives and religious contexts where we're shoulded to death. And my mom would always say to me, "Don't should on yourself," and or she would try to tell herself that too. And so I just wanted to kind of bring that up, like maybe the word how we could be. Maybe we're in recovery of how we could be. Like this gives, for me, this sense of anticipation and possibility of how could we be together. And so we had a great conversation about it, and I'm so glad we did, because it led me to think further and deeper about how I relate to this idea of shoulds. And I started to think, oh, actually, I definitely have some shoulds that draw me forward in life, right? Things like I believe that every child should be loved. I believe that every human should be loved as they are. I believe that every child should be given the opportunity to grow up healthy and strong, and have the resources that are needed to do that. So I totally have some shoulds, right? Yeah. But I just needed to think about my relationship to that idea. And so that's part of an example, I think, of the healing, right? Like just getting more present to those particular things and expanding the story a little bit. All right. So I think we'll share this song from the 9Beats double album. It's called 9Beats to the Bar. You can check it out. It's on Spotify. And actually, as Ben Grace and I are on this tour together, Ben Grace put a Spotify playlist together of the songs that we're singing from the 9Beats album, and also a couple of his brand new singles that are gorgeous, and a couple of my songs like from my Story Dwelling album and things like that as well. So we'll link that up in the comments, and you can explore that, enjoy that, and share that, please. So for now, though, this is In Recovery. There comes a time when we've run out of wishes, and all that we hope for is weighed down by gold. If only the naked were clothed in the kisses of lovers, beautiful lovers. Those who believe are resigned to confessing that those seen as nothing are now to be told they are the ones who inherit the blessings of wonder, the realms of wonder. There's a moment for is calling to how we could be. We're in recovery. Eyes filled with tears, overflow of souls aching, dissolving despair as they fall to the ground. But deep in the longing is burgeoning vision. Discover, release and uncover. Wildflowers bloom from the fields of abandon, once barren and scorned, disregarded, despised. Earth past her mourning, now bursting in laughter with color, blossoming color. There's a moment for all to see. Is there a way it was meant to be? A way that commands of you, makes a demand on you. Voice on the wind, it is calling to how we could be. We're in recovery of how we should be. We're in recovery, placing our hearts on the things that we have, without question their value will fall, given that we are worth more than them all. Stars of the sky, their light to you and I carry. Sunfire wrapped up in muscle and bones. We are the ones for whom we've been waiting, hearts burning, glorious yearning. There's a moment for all to see. There's a way it was meant to be. A way that commands of you, makes a demand on you. Voice on the wind, it is calling. There's a moment for all to see. There's a way it was meant to be. A way that commands of you, makes a demand on you. Voice on the wind, it is calling to how we should be. We're in recovery of how we should be. We're in recovery. 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 All right.
Wow, beautiful.
Hey everyone, I'm Heather Lynn, and this is a special 9Beats focused music and conversation live stream. Feel free to share this. Let us know if you're watching right now. We are in Chicago, and we would love to know where you are. So let us know in the comments. Say hello so we know that you are there. And feel free to chime in as well if you want to. And please, please do share. We appreciate all the shares in the world. You will defy Facebook algorithms, and or maybe actually it's paying homage to and pleasing the gods of Facebook algorithms by sharing. We appreciate it. So I am here today with Ben Grace. As many of you know, Ben Grace and I are on our second collaborative tour, 2018. 9Beats is a tour partner / sponsor. They are helping us do this and share this with you. So we are focusing on the 9Beats collective today, the project and the album. And one of the collective members is here in Chicago. So Aaron Niequist is joining us here. So Aaron, you wrote an exquisite track on this album. It is gorgeous.
Thank you.
And I met Aaron for the first time in Malibu when the original 9Beats collective got together. And so we've just been chatting about that here. And I'd love to hear more about your creative process and your approach to how the 9Beats drew this song out of you, why it matters to you.
Yeah.
It's called Lament, right?
Yeah. Creatively titled.
Yeah, well, sometimes the simplest, most straightforward thing is what's best.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I mean, hello, everybody. Glad to be a part of this. And by the way, I just decided I'm going on the rest of the tour with you.
Oh, really?
And I'm going to sit right here.
Okay.
And I'm going to listen to you sing.
Just like on every stage, we'll just have a chair
Just
for
a
Aaron.
chair. I don't need a microphone or anything. I want to
We'll heal your
sit.
voice and get you singing by about 2 days.
Yeah, that's right. No,
Amazing.
you guys are, it's just so beautiful.
Thank you.
No, it brought me back to that first, they collected, how many of us? Were there 20 of us? Something like that?
About between thought leaders and artists. Mm-hmm.
And so we get together in Malibu at this Franciscan retreat.
It was gorgeous.
It was stunning.
Yeah.
But I remember we were all looking around like, what are we doing?
Totally,
What is this going to be? And we all were there because we trusted the person who invited us.
All right.
So for
I
us,
think
it was
so,
Mark
yeah.
Scandrat.
Mm-hmm.
And we looked around the circle, and we knew some of each other, but the others were meeting for. And I remember just this weirdness, this insecurity, like, oh no, I have nothing to contribute to such a gifted group. But also this spark of possibility, like, if we are all here from literally around the world, around these 9 sayings of Jesus, this path.
Did we find them, by the way, to share them with
Yeah, but it was, I found the page that Mark handed out.
yeah, let's do that. Yeah.
Can I just read the Beatitudes?
Feel free. Yeah, that's great. Yeah.
If this is new for some.
And if you want to read the response as well.
Yeah, okay. So Mark Scandrat, who was kind of guiding some of the language for this, just said this is the ninefold path of the living way.
Yeah, and very similar to like if a Zen Buddhist would tell
Absolutely.
you the Eightfold Path,
Yep.
right? It's very similar.
Mark, can I
idea.
give one?
Totally,
Mark would
please.
say he realized as a Christian that when he'd ask anyone else from their any other religion, what is your pathway? They were able to say, oh yeah, we have this Eightfold Path, we have that. And then they'd say, so Christian, what is your pathway? And he's like, believe some stuff.
Yeah.
Vote Republican.
And
Like,
I suppose it didn't resonate to do like the 10 Commandments or
Right,
whatever,
yeah,
right?
that's it,
Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
And so he was scratching around and realized that this is not, like I said before, this is not just 9 things to believe.
Right.
This is a path. This is an invitation. So
Yeah.
these are, he handed this out. This first, we gather around in a circle, and he would read the Beatitude, and then we'd all say this response. So if I could do this for us. Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. And then the response was, lead us in the way of trust. Blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted. Lead us in the way of lament. Blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the earth. Lead us in the way of humility. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they will be filled. Lead us in the way of goodness. Blessed are the merciful, for they will be shown mercy. Lead us in the way of mercy. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see God. Lead us in the way of right motive. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called children of God. Lead us in the way of peacemaking. Blessed are those who are persecuted because of righteousness, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Lead us in the way of suffering. Blessed are you when people insult you, persecute you, and falsely say all kinds of things against you because of me. Rejoice and be glad, because great is your reward in heaven. For in the same way they persecuted the prophets who are before you. Lead us in the way of radical love.
I think what I find so compelling, especially, is that so many of the narratives in our society about what it means to be human, what it means to be successful, what it means to have our shit together, these just invert all of it and turn it upside down and inside out. And I love that.
Yeah. Well, and I know we're staying on the positive side, not on the negative side, so I don't want to go super negative. But what's really messed with me is how many of the things I've learned specifically from my Christian faith are the opposite of this.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
And so it's like sitting there, like
I have no problem with you naming that.
Yeah, well,
I don't know who told you to be more positive.
No, I'm just saying. You know,
I just say keep it real. Yeah. That's my motto.
So it's like, what do you do as a Christian when Christ's teaching are the opposite of what you were taught? And so much of this is the way of trust, lament, humility, goodness, mercy. So, anyways.
It's the first time I'm hearing that. And the one that struck me was the pure of heart and lives in the way of right motive. So I think I was already told purity of heart was about something else.
Right.
You know, purity was about
purity culture.
Yeah, purity culture, other thing. And so that really just struck me. It's like, like, to actually kind of find and align our intentions.
That's right.
And then obviously what happens is consequence. You know, like is whatever, it's up to people. But to find a way of living that's right down in line with that, I think is extraordinary.
And there's a series of hand postures and gestures that Mark created to accompany each of these. And the one for that one happens to be jazz hands. and so many of us are sort of like, Mark, what are you doing?
Yeah,
like,
rolling our eyes.
I don't get it. Like so many of us were like, what are you? But I think it comes down to being that congruence and that inner and outer life aligned, and is what are my actions and how my presence in the world is it in alignment with my true self, you know? And so letting our light shine is kind of the idea.
Like I remember him saying, this is actually me.
Right.
Yeah, nice.
This is actually me.
Yeah,
not hiding anymore.
I love that.
Oh, it's so moving.
Yeah, it's so good.
And so you asked about the lament song.
Yeah.
It came out of the second one. Blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted. And again, I'm going negative again, but I don't want to.
Please be real.
The faith tradition I was brought up in, there was no space for sadness.
Right. Right.
If you were sad, then there's something wrong with your faith, right? Just pray more, or sing a happy song, or something like that. And it, as we all know, it creates really split human beings. Yeah.
Oh gosh, and if you never go through the grieving process, you can never heal.
Totally. Well, I mean, look at this. Blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted.
Yeah.
So we can avoid mourning. If we want to, and avoid being comforted. And it leads to pretending. It leads to church is the place where we're happy or look like we are, and those kinds of things.
And it's not real.
It's not real.
Yeah. And it cuts off, like I had a mentor in college who was so smart. And I was talking with her, I started to process like my childhood shit when I was in college, right? Yeah. And there were some emotions that were coming up for me that really scared me. And I was like, I don't know if I'm allowed to like have those feels of anger and whatever. And she was like, but emotions are on a spectrum. And if you cut off one end of the spectrum, you're cutting off the other end too. So if you don't allow yourself to feel that darkness and that anger, then you aren't going to feel that. If you don't go to the depths, you aren't going to feel the heights as well. It's just the way we're wired.
And that's the most Enneagram 4 thing to say.
Is it?
And I love it. You know, in order for the heights to be authentic, you have to name the depths. But I mean, think about it in terms of art. Like art that is only the heights is terrible art. Or is Christian art. Right? But when you can go to those deep places. One thing that our community learned, we were studying some of this because we said we haven't learned any of this stuff. How do we? And 1/3 of the Psalms are laments.
Yes.
Wow.
1/3.
Yep.
Do you know what percentage of the top 100 worship songs on CCLI are laments?
1%?
Less. 0%.
Really not even like 0.03% or anything?
There are 0 laments. And again, it's easy. That's an easy target. But what does that do to our souls, to our communities?
Right.
I had a mentor who said, never be the kind of church that when you have a funeral, you have no songs to sing. And so we all, as a little community in that Malibu retreat center, we were just exploring and looking through all of these, and I kept finding myself drawn back to that. Both for my own, I mean, I have plenty in my life to lament and try to make sense of. I mean, there are some things in life that the only appropriate response is to weep.
Right.
Anything else is inappropriate. I don't care how much faith you have. The only response is to weep. And so I kept finding myself drawn back to this one. And then we were in that basement room, and I remembered I had this melody that was this really haunting melody, had no lyrics or anything. And I remember I finally got the nerve up.
I remember that, yeah.
The musicians, I mean, you guys, these musicians were ridiculous. And I'm like this, worship leader hack guy.
Ridiculous.
But that's how I was feeling. I was like, these are like all these legit musicians. And it finally got to me, and I'm like, I have this little melody. It has no words. But can I like la 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 it for you? Do you remember that? And so I just found the piano.
So glad you did, Aaron.
And just kind of la 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 la, And they asked me to sing it today, and I have no voice.
Yeah.
2 mornings ago, I woke up and my throat is feels like it's a pine cone right there. So I'm so. I really wanted...
Pine cones in your throat are the worst.
I know.
It's even worse than a frog. At least they're smooth.
Yeah. So right before this, I drank a lot of tea to try to at least get through the talking part. And that's what you have too, right?
Yeah.
Tea?
Well, I have tea. And we should actually get you some bourbon.
Some tea. Yeah, that would have helped.
Yes, I have tea.
So I wish we could share the song, but can we post it on the?
Absolutely.
Okay. Let me just say a word about the woman who sang it, Fatai.
Yes, I want you to.
Fatai is one of the most purely gifted musicians I have ever met. And what's wonderful about her is she's as good of a person as she is musician.
That's so great.
And like we were joking, like those don't always go together.
I wish she could have come today. I want to be friends.
So much. Yes.
Yeah.
And she is. And so I just pulled her in. I said, I wrote this little thing. I could sing it, but I'm not going to do justice to it. Would you consider? And she said, absolutely. And so we changed the key, and she came in, and she brought it to life. And so, it's going to be in the notes. I can't wait for you to hear it. Fatai just crushes it. And then Tony and the team scored it for string quartet. So it's just piano, Fatai, and string quartet. And it's pretty breathtaking. So,
will you just read us the words?
I would love to.
Tell us the words of the song Lament.
I would love to.
And then we'll do another one of my songs from the 9Beats collective album. If you're watching right now, please say hello and let us know that you are. Feel free to share this if you want to. This is a special 9Beats edition of my Music and Conversation series. And if you'd like to check out any other Music and Conversation series, they're on heatherlynnmusic.com/live. You can also check out bengracemusic.com, and we'll be posting a Spotify playlist to just help share some of the songs that we're sharing on the tour. And then 9beats.org, we have Aaron Niequist here from the 9Beats Collective, and he's going to read us some words from his song on the double album, and then I'll share another of mine.
It's weird, obviously, to separate the words from the melody. It's such a haunting...
I cannot wait for you all to hear the melody. I'm going to learn to sing it.
I hope you do.
I'm totally going to, yeah.
Yes.
I don't know why I haven't
I'm going to be
yet.
on tour with you guys. So now we'll be able to do that song.
We could get you a second keyboard.
All right.
Aaron's moving into this apartment as well.
That's right. I'm staying here forever. The lyrics are very simple. Just trying to paint a picture. It just says broken... beauty crying out alive. Comfort. Everything is not all right. Hope is on holiday. The angels say, and then the chorus is just and I just pictured like all creation groans, like crying out. Second verse, lost and never really gone or known, carried, grateful to be found alone. Echoes of holy innocence unknown. And then again, the angels just sing, ah. And then the third verse is the half verse, and there's a little bit of a turn towards the hope, waiting, groaning for the dawn to break. Under the weeping skies, creation cries. And then it's back to the chorus. So
I love it.
So thank you.
Would you send me a chord chart for that?
I will.
Okay.
And we're going to learn it.
Okay.
Yep,
all right. Awesome. For now, we'll do this song, Letting It Go. It's on the album. And then when we come back, will you just share with us what's next for you in your journey, projects you're working on, and then we'll wrap things up and be on our way. Okay. Letting it go, letting it be. Surrender isn't easy. Letting it go, letting it be. Don't have to carry this weight so heavy. Allowing for relief. Letting it go, letting it be. Perception is uncertain, so I'm letting it go, letting it be. Surrender isn't easy, letting it go, letting it be. Don't have to carry this weight so heavy, allowing for release, letting it go, letting it be. Holding gently in light some space for surprise. Can't always figure it out. Befriending, living with the doubts, and letting it go, letting it be. Surrender isn't easy, letting it go, letting it be. Don't have to carry this weight so heavy, allowing for release, letting it go, letting it be. 'Cause life's beyond understanding. Sometimes there's good in asking. Won't waste my strength on grasping. Letting it go, letting it be. Surrender isn't easy, letting it go, letting it be. Don't have to carry this weight so heavy, allowing for release, letting it go, letting it be. Excellent. That is a track from the 9Beats collective double album called 9Beats to the Bar. We'll link it up for
Did you write
all.
that one?
I did, yeah.
It's so good. The bridge is too much.
Oh,
It's too
thanks, Aaron.
much. Oh man, did you see me grinning? Oh, the bridge is too much.
Something very 90s about that tonal change
When
too.
it, yeah, it's, whoa.
So I know you're a 90s boy, so I'm a 90s boy too. I just love that stuff.
I love it.
I had no idea. I just,
Yeah.
the song wanted to be sung that way.
Yeah, wow.
So, awesome. So grateful to be in Chicago on the Ben, Grace, and Heather Lynn 2018 tour. This tour is already going so well. We hope that if you're in the Chicago area, join us in Oak Park
Thursday night.
Thursday night.
Yep.
and check out the other dates that we have in this
Naperville
area.
on Friday.
That's
Naperville.
right.
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah, Ian Simpkins.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
And then
Oh, I love
Aurora,
Ian.
and then we'll be
Yes.
headed back down. Ben is going to join us back down. We're going to close things out in Boulder, Colorado. So that's awesome. And we're grateful to the 9Beats Collective for being a tour partner with us. We're highlighting the album today and this very, very special 9Beats Collective member, Aaron Niequist.
Did you mention that not only is it available for streaming, but you can get the double
right.
LP?
That's right. You can get...
And it's stunning. The art, it's such a beautiful, it's like a piece of art.
It is.
Just visually.
Yes,
Yeah,
I agree. Yeah, you can get all kinds of 9Beats Collective merch online if you want to.
I think it's part of the point,
Hats
right? I think
and-
one of the things you said earlier about like Christian art not being very good.
Yeah.
I think the way we as people of faith should be leading the world is being creative. Like the first thing we find about the divine in our text is that the divine is creative. And yet we're often kind of following rather than actually kind of leading with beauty. And I know it costs money to create beautiful things, but to be invested in that process, I think is beautiful.
Yeah, I totally agree.
And so we welcome money to create beautiful things.
Playground Facebook.
It's very costly on so many levels,
Yeah.
needing emotional support and resources.
Yeah.
So anyway, I just thought I'd throw that in there since we hadn't mentioned Patreon yet.
Nice.
Okay, so you need to be on your way soon. So
yes.
would you let us know what you're up to in life, the project you're working on, what you're looking forward to, how people can connect with you?
Can I tell them why I'm running out the door?
Totally.
Yes.
If you want to.
Wrigley Field is calling. Have tickets for the Cubs game tonight.
All right.
So I think I'll make it. Traffic at this time of day is nuts, but I'll make it. Yeah. Yes, okay. But so good to be with you guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Great.
So good to be with you. Yeah.
So tell us what's next.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I just finished the book, my first book.
Congratulations.
I've been.
That's killer, man.
Oh, look at that. Right behind
All
you.
right.
Come on.
Jason,
There
it's just on it.
That's
We
amazing.
don't always have a TV
know,
screen in our
that's
sets,
so
but
amazing.
today we do.
I feel like it just became real right
yeah,
now.
that's right.
Yes.
It just became
Right
real.
here.
No, it's The Eternal Current. The subtitle is How a Practice-Based Faith Can Save Us from Drowning. And a lot of it's from my own story of kind of drowning in that kind of faith that wasn't working. But I've said there's like two parts. One is an invitation to move from beliefs-based faith to practice-based faith, but also from moving from like tribal certainty, like me and my people have all the truth and no one has any of the truth, to realizing that my story is really important, but it's just one slice. And so we need to learn from all, so it's kind of opening up the gates to see what we can learn together. So August 7th it comes out.
Okay.
And I am both terrifyingly nervous, like I don't know what I'm doing, and I am so excited. I
As
want to
it
like
should
stop
be,
people
yeah.
on the street and say, hey, there's a
I
book
wrote a
coming
book.
out. So it is. It's real. It's a weird both
that's great.
and,
So kind of some ideas around, instead of being so insular, expanding the center.
Yeah.
And with our whole lives and our way of being, rather than just in our thoughts.
Absolutely.
Which, of course,
Moving
is a part
from
of it, yeah.
the goal is to believe certain things on one day a week.
Yep.
To the goal is to participate with God and with this wild motley crew of characters for the sake of the world.
Beautiful.
All week long.
For creativity and beauty and benefit and
Totally.
blessing and
Yes.
healing, the great
redemption and healing
Yeah.
and
Okay.
all of the above. So.
Oh, that's so
Yeah, thanks for
beautiful.
asking.
I love the fact that you said you're kind of scared about it, because I think that's part of it, right? Actually living out your
Yes.
world means we actually have to do things we're afraid of, because
Absolutely.
otherwise like faith isn't worth
Yeah,
anything.
yeah,
like,
yeah.
The whole definition of faith about doing something that's unseen or walking to the
Yeah.
unknown.
Yep.
If we don't practice that,
right.
then it is certainty on some kind of point.
Absolutely.
So we have to jump,
Well,
I'm glad you're doing it. I mean, you've been...
August 7th, we're jumping.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Well, thank you. I mean, in my life, what you've been teaching and practicing and inviting me into has been
Yeah.
extraordinary. It's kind of helped me
Awesome.
kind of move through the last few years of my own life and pain and sort, I think, a lot of the deconstruction that happens
Yeah.
into things I can feel in my body and things I can do
Yeah,
and things I
yeah,
can
yeah,
touch
yeah.
and taste and see. And not just sent to mentally, and get stuck upstairs where your mind is just one part of you. You've got to have the rest of it.
Right.
Yep.
So.
Ben came to, we've only done 3 pastors, priests, and guides retreats, and Ben came to the first 2. Mm-hmm. And he didn't come to this last one, and it was terrible. It wasn't even worth doing, but hopefully he'll come to the next one.
So I'm glad to hear that, but I'm not really glad to hear that.
I know. It was great.
Yeah, awesome.
Oh, that's so great. I'm glad that you said you talked about things that you can touch and taste and see, because when you were just talking about it, you did this.
Yeah.
And I was it's about that tangibility and even sensuality and things that are right here.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
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 We can do it. That's right.
All right. Here's one of my favorite songs from the 9Beats to the Bar double album, with contributions from all over the world. And Steve Bassett, who is, I would say, the primary instigator.
Instigator is a good word.
Of this project.
Yep.
He's also a brilliant lyricist, and so he wrote these words for this song, "What Can Love Create," and sent them to me one day. Sent me a little Twitter message. Hey, I hear your voice singing these words, not in any particular way, but I just do. So here they are. And I'm so, so glad he did. So thanks again for joining us. We'll link up all the things. Feel free to share. And continue to follow this tour and remain connected. And we'll close this out. So here we go. Eyes of grace, see beauty in this world-worn face. Your unsettling tenderness softens something brittle inside. Never saw myself as beautiful until today. Oh, what can love create that wasn't there before? Creative acts of grace, open hidden doors. Oh, what can love create that wasn't there before today? Eyes of hope, see futures in this beaten frame. Your unshakable trust in me flowers into promise inside. Never knew it could feel so intimate to hear my name. Oh, what can love create that wasn't there before? Creative acts of grace, open hidden doors. Oh, what can love create that wasn't there before today? Oh, what can love create that wasn't there before? Creative acts of grace, open hidden doors. Oh, what can love create that wasn't there before today? Peace to you and yours, you all.